So in the world of AI and replacing artists with AI and using AI in place of artists, this is some like local LA art AI drama that I just wanted to share with you guys. It's a lot more niche because it is related to like the art vendor space in LA. This is involving a situation with an art market that is local to SoCal. Now, again, before I delve in, please don't send hate to any parties involved. So the art market in question is actually this market called Soul Real Market. This is like a flea market where they bring in a lot of artists, a lot of vendors, and then local artists can basically show all of their goods. It's a really fun time. They also bring in like foods and sometimes they'll have DJs and things like that. I actually went to one of their events and, saw a couple people that I knew. And of course, like any other event that happens, you would need promotional material for the event. So this event is kind of known. They have this really cutesy style and they have a lot of promo material that they post. So this is kind of like an example of some of the artwork. It's very cutesy, very hand-drawn, and it seems really like artist forward. They have a lot of cute graphics they post. They work with a lot of artists. And a really recent post that they had was this one. And this was a new graphic they had highlighting another one of their markets that was supposed to happen June 13th in Anaheim. The design is super, super, super cute, and they had tagged the artist who had made the event flyer, the artist by the handle of One.Stardust. This artist, by the way, has a super unique art style. It is so cute, very, very retro. I love the way their art looks so much. It's absolutely adorable. And people were loving this graphic. They were saying they love it so much that they would love to buy a print of it, actually asking who the artist was, etc. And then a couple of days after that, they had actually uploaded this graphic, which uses a lot of the little cute characters that was originally on the first flyer, and they added some extra information. They added the vendor lineup, they also added new vendors, new food, whatever. But again, it notably is in the same style as the original flyer that was made, to the point where I saw this one scrolling, right? Because I was originally following this page, and I was like, oh, wow, this is a really cute graphic made by the same artist. And that is exactly what you would hope and think is what happened, until some more information came out that revealed something more nefarious actually went on behind the scenes. On June 12th, on their page, they had posted this NSFW AI content with like a little sad emoji face. This already felt like really odd because the whole NSFW AI, like, dude, maybe I'm too sensitive or whatever when it comes to reading this, but it's like when you put like NSFW tags or like trigger warning sensitivity tags, it is for triggering topics, things that are more sensitive. When it comes to making like an apology for something that you did wrong, being like NSFW AI content, sad eye emoji, it feels like you're making light of the situation. And maybe they were, trying to stay on brand with their like very Y2K, very retro looking brand aspect. But I feel like the apology statement is really not where you're, uwu kawaii desu, all over it. But they write, hello, So Real Market would like to publicly address its now deleted post highlighting our vendor lineup for tomorrow's event, June 13th, as the use of AI was involved to help create the graphic below, aka the left image with the vendor lineup. We would like to be transparent and let the community know that with our lack of resources and organization, the team was unable to create a vendor flyer in a timely manner, and instead opted to utilize AI to generate separated individual PNG assets of the main event flyer, without the original artist's consent, in effort to make the flyer. Such action was done with the intention of highlighting our amazing vendor community at our Tamagotchi Paradise Market, but with no regard of the artists who spent time and energy into their craft. This already feels like kind of weird, because on one hand, yes, they acknowledge the wrongs they did, right? That's like part of, the acknowledgement. They acknowledge that they did it without the artist's consent. And they also acknowledge that the artist spent a lot of time and effort putting their work together and that it was wrong. But what is really odd is like the excuse they gave in here, where they were like, oh, we didn't really have time to like make the asset, so we used AI to rip the PNGs off of the original flyer. There was an artist who made the flyer, right? Have you guys not thought about, hey, artist, can you give me the PNGs for the cute little characters you made so that we can use it? Or, hey, artist, can you make me a second flyer? I love your art style, That's just very odd, because I feel like that's kind of like the first line of thinking you would go to, ask the artist for it. Maybe there's a situation where the artist was busy and said no or something like that. But like, really? That was the best case scenario we could come to. There was a lot of other options. Also, secondly, it felt weird because this market has been around for 4 years. So it's not like they are brand new and disorganized because they haven't done this before. They've been around for 4 years. They just recently had a post highlighting 4 years of So Real Market. So they've been around for a while. So it's just a little bit odd that they like didn't know they needed a vendor list because they've hosted a whole bunch of events now. You would probably know, hey, for this upcoming event, we're going to need these graphics, including a vendor lineup, you know? So why wasn't that also part of the pitch to the artist where you go to the artist and ask, hey, I need a main flyer, I need a vendor lineup, and maybe I need some like a banners, you know, on site with your cute artwork to advertise it. Also, secondly, the lack of resources implies they didn't have enough money to do this, which, you know, I've never hosted events, so I don't really know how, but you know, you probably would need like the tables, the chairs, and then money to rent the space. But these people who vend here have to pay a vendor fee to be there. So like money is exchanging hands one way or another. So that just means you guys didn't account for like an artist budget in this case. The whole thing is just really odd. And people in the comments also were not happy about it at all, especially because this whole event is supposed to support local artists, small businesses, and it feels like a big fuck you if you use AI for it. And on the graphic, they have some more things. They write, the So Real Market team truly does not take AI-generated content, nor the improper allocation of credit towards our artists lightly. And we would like to reassure our community, especially our artist community, that such behavior will not be occurring again. To those who have been impacted through this action, we sincerely apologize for our lack of regard, concern, and support. Thank you so much for reading. So like, okay, if you guys don't take AI-generated content lightly, you know, how did this happen? Somebody fed the artist work to AI to generate that other flyer. So a lot of times when things like that happen, they'll be like, oh, you know, one person on our team did something that we completely do not support. We fired them. Yo, I'm not condoning like harassing or bullying or anything, but like, it's interesting that that wasn't mentioned, kind of like a consequence to whomever did this, but people in the comments were not happy at all. A user went on their burner account to go and give a whole heartfelt write-up against how they feel. And honestly, their frustration is felt. And a lot of people agreed with this, and they leaked something else. If y'all did support small businesses, you would have actually paid the artist and acknowledged the work and hours that goes into a piece. Exposure is not a form of payment, because apparently, as word on the street has it, and other people were talking about this in videos, it kind of sounds like the artist who made the original flyer wasn't even paid. If that is true, because this is alleged, it's absolutely wild to ask an artist to go and make a flyer for you for exposure and then run their artwork through AI. Not paying artists is already not really a great look in this economy, like, right? Because like with all AI and stuff like that, taking artists' jobs, we want to support artists, we want to support local artists, and this is a market that's supposed to support local artists. But on top of that, beyond that, taking their art and running it through AI, and I'm crazy. This person continues. You guys have maybe around 10 people on your team, and not one of them had time to make a flyer on Canva. You have application deadlines a month in advance, so excuses. And you were just looking to hire more staff? Your market has so many issues. I have seen MLM vendors at your market and a crochet shop that literally sources their items from Temu. That spot could have gone to a real artist. Another person writes, whomever said this is not deep is not a true artist and or is somebody who just cuts corners at the expense of others. I completely understand the lack of resources and money is a huge factor, but the vendor fees are kind of high. I wouldn't mind paying the fee again, knowing that part of my payment is going towards the artists who maintain the branding and create awesome flyers. Oh, and like everyone is saying, Canva is free. And another user says, I just found out you guys don't even pay artists for their flyers. Please tell me I'm wrong. For a market that solely relies on small businesses and artists, why the F would you use AI? Don't you guys have the money to rush order a commission for a flyer? I lost so much respect for y'all. For more info about the pricing, a user writes, not only is this disrespectful to the artist and harming the environment, it makes me question where the high vendor fees are going. There are 50 plus vendors paying $120 per spot, and you guys can't pay your artists? Where is the money going and why is it not going back to the community? Also, NSFW AI content, ooh, to downplay the situation is really disappointing. As a longtime supporter of So Real Market, it's sad to see the greed that has taken over this market. A lot of people were also campaigning and arguing that the original artists should be compensated for one, the work they did, but two, for the misuse of their work and the fact that it was run through AI to create the second flyer. And then also other people were adding, hey, just as a reminder for artists to go add a no AI clause in your contracts, which like, it sucks that it has to come to this point in the first place. Like, oh, you have to add a don't steal my art in the clause of your contract. it feels like it should be self-explanatory and understood, but it's always a situation where like what should be obvious isn't always obvious. Also, apparently they turned off comments on that apology post and the people were mad they turned off comments, they turned it back on, but it kind of looks like they're deleting comments because a lot of their recent posts have no comments at all. Now again, don't send hate, don't bully any parties involved, but just, you know, support the original artist that made the flyer. It's not cool to be an event where you claim to uplift local and small artists and then you turn around and just do something very, very awful to an actual artist and not pay them for their work as well. But also, secondly, don't fault or bully any of the vendors who are vending there. Because if you're a vendor and you paid $120 for your booth, like, what are you supposed to do? Take the L on the $120? If you're rich enough, maybe you can, right? But sometimes, like, you gotta do what you gotta do to make money. So I'm not gonna fault artists who are vending at these events or anything like that. It's a privilege to be able to say no to work. But again, support the original artists. Their work is really, really cute. They deserve all of the love. And I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this entire situation. This is something that happened kind of like in the local LA space, but just wanted to share it with you guys. Again, don't bully or harass anybody. That's not what this is about. If you like this video, I appreciate it if you like and subscribe. Don't forget to check me out on Etsy. I have digital art there for streamers and creators and a coffee with free resources. I'm also cooking up some merch, and I know I've said that for a minute, but we did the photo shoot really kind of giving K-pop Y2K. So I'm very excited for that, and I'll be launching the merch soon. A date will be mentioned in my videos soon, so I hope you guys are excited. They're gonna be cat themed. I promise I didn't just put my name across a shirt, okay? And yeah, I also stream on Twitch 3 days a week, Mondays and Saturdays at 6 p.m. PST, and Thursdays at 7:30 p.m. where I do a podcast with my friend. So I hope to catch y'all there or in another video. Peace.